Hello, everybody, and this is another Oscar predictions video. Today I'm going to be talking about Best Director, and just to let you know, I'm recording these videos pretty late at night, so if I'm rambling on a bit too long, that's probably why. I'm just trying to get my schedule together. I'm working in pre-production on a movie, uh, which you'll notice in the description of every one of these videos, there's a link to the casting call page. So if you live in and around Franklin, Tennessee, uh, I could use a cast member or just someone to help me out with this movie. This is really, really hard work. Hopefully rewarding work, but we're not at that part quite yet. So, okay, but as someone who is about to embark on this journey of directing a feature-length film, I have all the respect in the world for the 5 people we're going to talk about today who did it and got nominated for it. And yeah, that's as good a segue as I'm going to get. Let's talk about the nominees for Best Director. 5th most likely to win is Thomas Winterberg for Another Round. So I'm just going to get this huge disclaimer out of the way first. I have not seen Another Round yet. I plan on seeing it before the ceremony. I feel like it's important that I see it because of this director nomination. Especially given everything I just said, I respect these people because I'm going to be in this position. But so Thomas Fincher, he is a well-respected director. Before this film, I think he did The Hunt, and then he did Far from the Madding Crowd. And then this film, nominated for Foreign Language Film, the only other nomination, has predicted to win there, as I said it a couple of videos ago. But here's the thing. This is a lone director nomination. The movie is not nominated for Best Picture. And it is a fact, it is a known fact, that no director has ever won Best Director for a film that was not nominated for Best Picture. That has never happened before. Even if you go back to, for a good chunk of Academy history, there were 5 nominees for Best Picture, and in those days it was a lot more common to see lone director nominees, and still, it never happened. We never got a lone director nominee win Best Director. So, because of that stat, I have no reason to predict that Winterberg will be the first to break it. Like, maybe somebody could break that stat in the future, but if that were to happen, they would need to have some serious precursors going into the Oscar ceremony, and they don't. Thomas Winterberg has a handful of nominations, including BAFTA, but no serious wins. The nomination is clearly the reward this time, and maybe in the future he'll do something that is recognized in the Best Picture category and can get him closer to winning director. But as of right now, I see no reason why Thomas Winterberg would be the first person to break the stat. I cannot envision a world in which he wins. 4th most likely to win is David Fincher for Mank. Now, this is really interesting because Fincher, earlier in the season, like as Mank was getting ready to come out, people were like, oh, this is going to be Fincher's time. This is his time. He's doing a black and white movie. It's about Citizen Kane. He's never won Best Director, and he's overdue. This is his time. And then the movie came out, and people were like, oh, that's it? It very quickly, people lost passion for this movie. And Fincher himself had just enough passion to make the director lineup, although honestly, part of me wonders how close he came to missing the lineup. I think there's a chance he almost missed. It's definitely a solid work, but and a lot of effort went into recreating this old style of Hollywood. I made a joke at one point about like Mank was getting a lot of attention for a while for recreating a bygone era of filmmaking, and then WandaVision said, "Hold my beer." But in all seriousness, very good film. Fincher, congratulations on your 3rd Best Director nomination, I believe. One of these days you'll win. Yes, Lord knows you should have an Oscar already, but it's not. Mank, the passion is dropping. The film is not nominated in screenplay or editing, 2 things that you think it would be sure bets to be in. The passion just isn't there. And so we're just gonna let David Fincher go unrewarded this time around. It's gonna win production design, so the movie's not gonna go home empty-handed. But one day, Fincher, one day. Third most likely to win is Lee Isaac Chung. Now, this is a really interesting category because I feel like in most years I would not have put Lee Isaac Chung third. He'd be nominated, but like a 4 or a 5. It doesn't seem like the kind of direction that would win, and yet I was kind of hesitating. Should I put this directorial achievement second or third? I ended up going with third, but because it's not the most obvious, showy, look at me direction, but it works perfectly for the kind of movie it is. It showcases the actors and showcases the cinematography and the locations, and does it in a really effective way. It's and works well with child actors, so that's a good hit. Ben Zeitlin and Lenny Abramson, like clearly the hint to be nominated for Best Director is to direct a really good child performance. So congratulations to Lee Isaac Chung on this nomination, but he's won a couple of things, I guess, but nothing major, and I'm happy that he has a nomination, I really am, but it's just not the type of directing that wins. It's very good direction, but it's not flashy, and it doesn't have the precursor support it needs to pull off a win. Second most likely to win is Emerald Fennel. Now, I did kind of go back and forth on the 2 and 3 here. I think the number 1 in this race is obvious, as I'll get to in a minute, but Emerald Fennel for Promising Young Woman. This is her directorial debut. She's the first woman to ever be nominated for directing a debut feature. I would argue that maybe Fincher has more flashy direction, but I kind of feel like this is the most flashy direction of any film this year because it's a very stylized film. There's a lot of deliberate directorial choices that you can see in the details and the camera framing and the colors and the fact that the film has this very like girly, bright colors. It's done in a way that evokes like classic chick flicks, despite the fact that the subject matter is so dark. The way it's being presented is so like not that, and it's a fantastic juxtaposition. That's like it's asking. Promising a Woman is an incredible film, and it's asking you very hard questions, but in a very innocent way. Like, come on, you don't want to talk about this? Why not? And it's just a brilliant. It fits. It's the perfect directorial style for the story it's telling. That said, I find it difficult to believe that she's winning because she's gotten a couple of Critics Awards. She's gotten a couple of Critics Awards, and the movie is definitely in contention to win Best Picture. As I'm sure I'm going to get to later, as is Minari, but it's I just don't. I think it'd be weird to see someone come out of nowhere and win for their debut feature. If there was ever a movie to do it, it would be this one. But I don't know. I mean, I think, you know, usually when I talk about my number 2 in any given prediction race, pretty much the main reason why the number 2 is not winning is because they're not the number 1 choice, and the number 1 choice has all the real reasons to predict them. And so at a certain point, I just have to move on. The reason why Emerald Fennel is not winning is because number 1 most likely to win, and that is Chloe Zhao for Nomadland. Which, first of all, can we take a second to acknowledge the fact that of the top 2 contenders to win Best Director are both female. The first year in history we've gotten 2 women nominated, and they're the top 2 contenders. That is insane. That is extraordinary. That's amazing. Congratulations. Now, the reason why Chloe Zhao is winning is because she's won everything. She has steamrolled this race. She won the Globe. She won Critics' Choice. The movie won PGA. And it's probably going to win DGA too. And when it comes to like Critics Awards, Chloe Zhao was winning award after award after award. It was insane. Like she was winning like 30 something awards, and I don't. So I'm going to be totally honest. Nomadland as a film uh, didn't fully affect me the way it affected so many others. I It's a type of film where it's very, very naturalistic. She's very much like point the camera at the actors and let them talk, and it feels like you're watching a documentary. It feels very natural and very organic. Like, but like the downside to that is I'm kind of like, well, what work did Chloe Zhao really do? And I'm sure she did a lot of work, but to me personally, I didn't see it. But it's very clear at this point that I am missing something that everyone else is seeing. Like sometimes when your opinion differs on a film, it's just like, okay, I guess I'm wrong. And I can have whatever opinion I want, but like clearly the rest of the internet has outvoted me on this one and said Chloe Zhao is like gonna win. And I'm really, really curious as to what a Marvel movie directed by her is gonna be like. So looking forward to that when it comes out. But I think this is a historic win. Second woman ever to win Best Director, first Asian woman to win Best Director, first. How many Asians have won Director? Period. It's amazing. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. I wonder how many people are voting for her just because of the history it's making. Um, Fennel is right there if you want to go for another woman, but okay, I'm not gonna stretch too far. This film is yeah, it's gonna win director because everyone else has told me it's gonna win director, and because it's won every director award so far. And at a certain point, I just need to accept logic. So Chloe Zhao is winning. Don't ask me why. Ask the rest of the world. I, I apologize. That came out as aggressively mean. I want to say that just because the film didn't do much for me, that does not take away from the effect it had on so many other people, and is not my position to tell you what to think of a film. Um, it just didn't do much for me, but clearly did much for a lot of people. So, and it's going to make history. I'm not going to be too upset when she wins. It's going to make history, and it's a big deal, and I'll be happy with it. I'm fine. So, Chloe Zhao wins Best Director. That's what's going to happen. And I need to stop talking before I say something offensive. I'm sorry. So, tune in tomorrow where we will talk about Best Original Score. See you then.